Chapter 409. Having thrown off the cumbersome formal top and donned a cape made of a material that didn't reflect light, the part that had previously appeared to be pinned like fabric caught as an ornament unfurled, revealing a hood. Enveloping from head to toe in black clothing and with a hood covering either, he had become an entirely different person from just moments before. Good, perfectly like a night guest. No one will think you were a person at the party, Kishir joked, straightening the hood that obscured Yudhir's face with a playful smile. Yudhir opened the window, confirmed that no one was patrolling the area, and then leaped, gripping the upper frame. I shall be back. Be careful. The rumors of how long I have been playing around here all depend on when you return. Don't forget that. Kishir, who had draped Yudhir's discarded formal top over his arm, gracefully waved his fingers and blew a kiss. The sensation that had been heightened almost faltered at the princess-like gesture. Yudhir merely nodded in silence, then bounded off to the roof, stepping on the wind. Today's plan basically involved those in the security management team handling the auction house, while those left in the mansion took care of the party, surveilling those involved with the secret trade of the Duke Dane as well as the Star of Nagran. But the auction house, defended only by the cavalry and the knights of Peleta, was far more riskier than the secure party. Considering this, more personnel were sent to the security management team, but now, with the variable of the southern merchants, all agreed, including Kishir, that this alone was not enough for assurance. Therefore, one person possessing both the quickest mobility and reliable skills was given a special mission to move freely between the two groups, distract the attention of others, and provide support in ever-changing situation. This role went to Yudhir Ale, who had regained his strength. Everything that day was like a perfectly orchestrated play. Started a week ago when Pruel completed the list and handed over the party schedule. Yudhir first became Kishir's partner at the party, feigned inability to dance, and then made contact with Marty to gather information. Meanwhile, Kishir danced with the Baroness, captivated the nobles' attention. The nobles, ignoring Kishir dancing with the Baroness, only felt a base excitement towards the gossip of Yudhir and the following Duke of Peleta headed for the lounge, without questioning what they were doing there. Perhaps by now they were all gathered and chattering about what lascivious act must be occurring in the small lounge. Unfortunately for them, Yudhir was not there. The next goal was to quickly retrieve his sword from the mansion while Kishir stalled in the lounge and swiftly moved to the security management team. Yudhir recalled Kishir's voice, instructing him perfectly on everything from his steps to the speed of his drinking. From the disappearance of Baron Wilhelm, Kishir dancing with the Baroness, drawing everyone's focus, and finally, both of them conspicuously heading to the lounge, leaving an impression that no one could doubt his absence. Nothing had differed from what Kishir Lahore had anticipated. All was as if pieces on a board that had been arranged. If everyone at the party knew that the instruction had gone as far as to make Yudhir Ale move in a direction of speaking as little as possible, they would have been astounded. Yudhir faintly twisted the corners of his lips into a smile. Yudhir realized anew that Kishir had considered even such things, and he felt as if he had glimpsed a trace of the man's path through life. To deceive others perfectly, one must first look where no one would think to look. Yudhir, who had hidden in the shadows and quickly traversed to where the annex was located, landed lightly on a tree, a good hiding spot. It had been easy to get this far, as most of the guards were focused around the main building and entrance. When he reached out his hand and exerted his power, a sharp whistling wind swept through the entire garden, shaking the grass. Yudhir? A moment later, someone who had received the signal appeared. a blue-haired boy with small, mischievous yet lovable eyes, Finn Eldor. Finn looked up at Yther standing on the tree, grinned, and waved the long sword he was holding. It was Yther's sword, taken from his lodging. As Yther was about to jump down from the tree, Finn lowered his head and spoke softly. No, stay there for a moment. I will give it to you with my ability. As he had said this, a mist-like energy flowed from Finn's hands, and in blink of an eye, the sword disappeared and reappeared in Yther's hand. Holding it for the first time since the sheath had broken in the Great Serene Forest and it had been lying dormant in an ordinary temporary sheath, Yther felt his blood run hot. He attached the sword to his waist with practiced ease and spoke. It seems the speed is similar even when using the teleportation ability alone rather than with two. You have practiced a lot. I knew Yther would understand. You have no idea how hard I have worked. Doesn't your faith soar? Finn laughed brightly and joyfully. But what was the signal you sent earlier? Ah, I wanted to tell you about the stories I heard while observing the targets. Nothing special, but I thought it would be best to let you know before we start today. We have to move right away, so I thought it would be better to write it down and slip it into the sheath. Look at it on your way. At those words, Yther looked down at the sheath and saw an additional small piece of cloth tied to the red string attached to the handle. Thank you. Thank you, huh? So don't cancel the recruitment offer if the information in there is nothing special. They are awakeners, but I barely saw them move. A faint smile emerged at Finn's innocent and nonchalant appearance, who seemed to have been most worried about that part. Ah, and there is one more thing I have to tell you. What is it? Finn made a humming sound and scratched his head. Kana is finally back, but not here right now. What do you mean Kana is not here? There was a carriage earlier that tried to come in with the party attendees but was chased away. Turns out that carriage had come from the Great Serene Forest. Kana should have come here sooner from the Great Serene Forest, but the discovery of the magic ore beneath the magic spring ruins changed the situation, delaying the schedule. Yther had heard that she was really going to depart as soon as the job was finished, but given the time involved, he thought the chances of her not arriving until after the job were higher. That she had arrived today was a surprising event. Although I went out late, all I heard was that the carriage had already gone to the security management team, so I came back. It seems that the messenger pigeon path was a little twisted, causing the communication to cross. This is a welcome variable. Thank you for letting me know. Are you going now? Yes. I wish I could go too. Waiting here for those who may or may not come is less appealing than going to the security management team's place. But you will help me with an ability that only you can perform, won't you? Finn, who had been openly envious, closed his mouth as he looked at Yther, who had jumped down in front of him. A moment later, a mischievous expression, shy yet unable to hide excitement, appeared on the boy's face. Yes, you're right. Finn Eldor, coming out to hand Yther the sword, was not just because of simple friendship, but part of the plan that had been included since he learned that Finn had become able to use teleportation ability by himself. Finn, arms stretched towards Yther, closed his eyes and exerted his energy. Just trust me. No one will notice, and I will get you perfectly outside the mansion. A vapor-like energy began to flow greatly over his small face, drenched in sweat. As that energy grew stronger, covering Yther, there was an unseen pull and a sensation as though something was sucking him in. Yther, who had closed his eyes with dizziness, realized that he had truly come outside of Wilhelm's mansion. Not far off, the knights and soldiers crowding around the mansion's back door was busy moving around, unable to even imagine that someone had suddenly escaped from within. Either turned his back to them and crept into the darkness. There was no hint of hesitation in his movements as he flew onto the rooftop.